Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Queenie for those who don't know me. And even though you guys have been tagging me in a lot of tea, it's mainly about Clay and AD. I wanted to wait until we got a little bit more substance to talk about in this video, and boy, have the streets been talking. So before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell, and leave a comment down below. As always, I will turn the longer videos or the more like variety type videos into chapters, so you can just skip to the parts that you want to hear about. We're going to start with some older people, older like cast. Guys, please, my mind is already in vacation mode. I cannot think today, okay? We're going to start with Josh and Jackie. So Jackie went on a podcast and she talked about the real reason why she and Josh broke up.
I'm just going to keep it real.
Yeah.
When my father had passed away, he broke up with me 3 days after.
Oh.
And the excuse was, or the why?
My mental wasn't in the right spot, and that I had a conversation with Monica on after the altar, and he told me not to. And I went to work, and I told him, I was like, I want all your stuff packed out, because I'm still in the same apartment that you saw in after the altar. I'm still here.
Okay.
But I was like, when I come back, all your stuff needs to be gone. And when I did, it was gone.
How long did you date it? How many months?
2 years.
Oh, years. 2 years.
2 years.
So you
Yeah.
thought this is it. This is my person.
Oh yeah, we were supposed to get married on December 20th. We were just gonna go to the courthouse and do like his family and my wedding type thing.
It was going that well, but he broke it off because you had a difficult time with your father's passing?
Yeah, and he didn't like the fact that I couldn't listen to, because when Monica was going to the blogs and everything, that was my best friend in the pod. And he was like, I don't want you talking to her no more. And I cut her off. We went to Palm Springs. We were all hanging out, Josh, me, Monica, because he got engaged to Monica in the pods. But it was like they didn't have no connection. They didn't care. Like we were all hanging out kumbaya. And then when the stories come out, like her saying like, yeah, I was engaged to Josh, it didn't work out, blah, blah, blah. He didn't like that she was speaking at all. So he's like, it's either me or her.
Yeah, that's very sad to hear, honestly. It's sad that she lost her father. We saw how much that impacted her on the show. And it is sad that in grief, she didn't have that partner stick with her. That is sad. I do think that there's more to it than just, she was kind of a shell of herself in grief. We saw Jackie's temperament on the show. And when Jackie, feels a way about something, she's very clear to let you know about it. Very clear. They also have this banter that's so deprecating. It's almost uncomfortable to watch. I'm going to see if I can find the clip. Oh, where was it? Was it the reunion? There was something where it was like, hey, ugly. Oh, you look like the nutcracker. Like just the way that their banter is. Who am I to judge? It just made me think, where's the love? Like, where is the love? Where is it, man? So yeah, I'm not quite surprised that things ended so quickly. I didn't expect the grief to be a part of it. We knew that he had an issue with Jackie talking to Monica about their relationship. We knew that. That was already in after. Did they do after the altar? Yeah, they did. That was already in the after the altar. So yeah. Anyways, sorry for her loss. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Then we have Renee Posh. If you guys, is it Posh or Poche? I'm not quite sure, but I'm going to say Posh. If you guys remember, I had done a video of Renee speaking out about the relationship she had with Carter in season 5. It, for lack of a better terms, was a very traumatic experience. She's not the only one who opened up a case against the partner that she was with and the production company. I think Renee's is actually the casting, not even kinetic. I think it's delirium. So I'm going to read here the result that happened with Renee. I think that she had petitioned to have this court proceeding be public. However, due to the contract agreement, a contract is an agreement, girl. That is redundant. Through the agreement, everything was going to be handled in private anyways. Love is Blind production company Delirium TV scored a legal victory in a lawsuit filed by season 5 participant Renee Posh. Los Angeles Superior Court Judge Bruce G. Iwasaki denied a request for Posh and her lawyers, Brian Friedman and Mark Garagos, to avoid arbitration in the lawsuit, according to a press release from the production company. In the ruling, Judge Iwasaki noted Ms. Posh and her lawyers engaged in heated rhetoric and had absolutely no evidence that participating in arbitration, as required under Posh's agreement with Delirium, would cause her harm per the press release. Judge Iwasaki also noted that court had grave doubts about Posh's request to avoid arbitration and ruled that she must defend Delirium's claims in the arbitration and, should she choose to continue to pursue them, litigate her claims against Delirium and Netflix in arbitration. Delirium's attorneys, Larry Iser and Alan Secretov of Kinsella, Hawley, Iser, Kump, Steinsaper, LLP, shared a statement reacting to the ruling. We are very pleased with the results of today's hearing, which confirms that Delirium acted properly in filing its arbitration against Ms. Posh in response to her violations of her confidentiality and publicity obligations, Iser and Secretov stated. Arbitration is the procedure that is spelled out in the agreement Ms. Posh signed when she applied to participate in Love is Blind, the statement continued. But rather than defend against Delirium's claims in arbitration, Ms. Posh and her lawyers chose to file a headline-grabbing complaint in court against Delirium and Netflix with a Morris of I've never heard the word Morris before. With a Morris of arguments challenging the enforceability of the agreement she signed. The statement included, Ms. Posh and her lawyers twice sought unsuccessfully to enjoin Delirium from pursuing its arbitration against Ms. Posh, and also sought unsuccessfully to enjoin all of Delirium and Netflix's employment and participant agreements. The press release also states that Ms. Posh was asked to stop her unauthorized interviews and promptly mediate the dispute, and she was reportedly warned by production personnel, as well as by Delirium's lawyers, that her continued breaches of the participant agreement would result in Delirium filing arbitration. In January, Posh sued Netflix and Delirium TV for unlawful employment practices, as well as unfair competition and intentional infliction of emotional distress, according to a complaint obtained by People. Posh alleged that Netflix and Delirium TV matched her ex-fiancé Carter Wall, matched her with... See, this is where the things get a little bit muddy, because if she's alleging that they matched her with Carter, the thing about Love is Blind is you make a choice. Dang. Whom the complaint describes as a walking red flag. Despite voicing her concerns about Wall's alleged erratic and alarming behavior and emotional instability, Posh claims Netflix and Delirium forced her to participate on the show and move forward with the engagement to Wall. Now that's the part where I side with her. If you are now saying, listen, this person is bad for my safety, get me out of here, and they don't get you out of here, that's a problem. That is a problem. The issue is where she says that they matched her with him, because they didn't do that. I don't think. After speaking out about her time on the show, Netflix and Delirium TV claimed Posh violated her NDA and sought $4 million. However, Posh believed the NDA is illegal and unenforceable, and she filed the lawsuit in hopes of clearing herself from all forms of liability. She says, my experience on Love is Blind was traumatic. I felt like a prisoner and had no support when I let Delirium know that I didn't feel safe. I tried to deal with these emotions over time and eventually felt like I needed to share what had happened. I felt it was only right to let others know the truth of what all the castmates had to endure. In the complaint, Posh, a veterinarian from Austin, Texas, claimed she was led to believe that participants were selected based on compatibility and marriage potential and screened with background checks and psychological examinations. In the wake of her comments, Delirium initiated arbitration against Posh for purportedly violating her unlawful non-disclosure agreement, According to the complaint, the company is now seeking $4 million for the violation after Posh only made $8,000 from her appearance per the complaint. Posh believed the agreement was illegal and unenforceable and sought relief from the court for any and all forms of liability. So yeah, she's basically saying, hey, listen, y'all put me into prison. So your NDA should not cover actual mistreatment. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm being mistreated and I told y'all about it and y'all refuse to take action, I deserve to speak out and I should not be punished for that. That's what she is saying. I hope she wins. It's really hard to win against these production companies, child, because their contracts are ironclad. Them things are hard to poke holes in, especially this far in the game. I think maybe like early 2000s, for sure. 2024? I wish her the best. Honestly, I really do wish her the best. Her, Trandang, and the guy from season 2, I think. So good luck to everybody. The next topic I wanted to talk about was Kenneth and Brittany. Brittany is on a podcast. I don't know if this is her podcast, but she's on it. And she's talking about these swirling rumors about Kenneth being homosexual. She denies that and then shares her own opinion on the situation.
A lot of people have asked me directly if Kenneth is gay. And I want to clear the air and say, no, he is not. I believe that people are starting to just think way too deeply into his, way of handling our situations of like, the physical touch thing. As viewers, it looks as though, he wasn't very affectionate, all of that. And while, yes, I did express that to a certain degree, it was not so much so that it drew a concern for me that he does not like women.
Yeah, that he wasn't attracted to you physically.
Exactly. And granted, like, I want to say this and really put a lot of emphasis on this too, is that Kenneth, like, is so incredibly respectful. And so his thing and his way of thinking of it, he's like, I am not that type of man, stereotypical to like meet a girl in a bar and be all up on her, touch her, feel her, all of that. Like, that is not him. He is so respectful that he would never cross a line unless I told him, like, I am comfortable with this.
Well, and the two of you made a commitment too, right?
So, exactly. But there's the answer. America. He likes women. Okay? Cheers to it.
As you guys know, I try my best not to bring that part into the scenario of things, just because I feel like, what benefit does it have? Truly. Okay? What benefit does it have to out somebody who hasn't said point blank, this is who I am? As we know, most of us should know, there was a cousin of Kenneth's who spoke out on Facebook and said, hey, he is rainbow. Now, it's not to say he is gay. He could very well be bisexual, pansexual. We don't know, right? But the assumption is that the cousin is outing Kenneth. Kenneth hasn't said anything. So me, I wouldn't say anything either. People are saying he's gay. Brittany is saying, listen, that's not the case. Just because somebody isn't attracted to someone doesn't automatically mean, well, they must be attracted to the opposite sex. That's what I don't like. I really don't like that. Things just didn't work out between those two. It's okay. We won't die. She won't die. He won't die. We will all be fine. I obviously meant to say if they're not attracted to the opposite sex, that specific person in the opposite sex does not mean they're attracted to the same sex. But the point of the matter is, especially with them living in the Bible Belt, I feel it's very detrimental to, be passing around information that is not confirmed by the person who it involves. Like, it's one thing to talk about the show. It's another thing to now say things that could have real ramifications in somebody's life. Is it the responsibility of somebody who is in a relationship with the opposite sex to say, hey, on a real tip, this is who I actually am? Yes. It absolutely is their responsibility. But like I said, until Kenneth says it, I'm personally not going to say it. Also, any homophobia in the comments, you will be blocked. I wonder what the cousin... And y'all, let's be for real. Let's not act like y'all don't know a trifling cousin, a trifling auntie, uncle, grandmother even in your family. There's always somebody who's trifling. So if those claims are unsubstantiated, that's very cruel of the cousin. And if it is in fact true, me personally, I would wait for Kenneth to say something. Um, it would be unfortunate if he went on a show knowing that he wouldn't be attracted to the opposite sex with the structure of what Love is Blind is. You know what I'm saying? I think that that would have taken an opportunity from somebody else who maybe had the potential to be with Brittany. But anyways, she says they're all good, so let's move on. AD is a sugar baby? That's what the streets are saying. That's what y'all are saying. That's what y'all said. Y'all said she's a sugar baby. I don't know. But she did admit to being a kept woman by her ex.
It's actually a funny story.
Mm-hmm.
So back when I was scouted, I worked in a nightclub and my ex owned the nightclub.
Mm.
And I had the nightclub in my bio. And so whoever was doing casting was like, we need to find this girl.
Yeah.
They called the club, which happens to be his personal line.
Ooh.
And they're like, hey, we're looking for Amber Desiree. We're casting for Love is Blind, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, mind you, we had been broken up for some time. And he's like, don't worry about it. Like, we're together.
He's like, we're not
she's
interested.
good. Yeah, we are not interested.
Sir?
She is definitely not interested. And hangs up. And then he calls me. He's like, you don't believe what just happened. And I'm like, well, what? He's like, oh, somebody from Love is Blind is trying to cast you. And I told them, like, you were good. And I was like,
Oh.
why would you do that? And I'm like, give me her number immediately. Like,
Yeah.
not funny. So I was like, hey, I heard you got some misinformation.
Mhm.
We're actually not together. And I'm actually very interested. Please tell me the process.
Yeah.
What I saw from AD in the pods was a little bit different than what I saw when we were when we were actually in Charlotte together. She, you know, we vibed off of entrepreneur spirit. We vibed off of working hard. And then when I felt like when we came back to the house, she dedicated all her time to be a wife. And that's cool and everything, but that's not really what I like fell in love with her about, you know, like I felt as though for me to say I do, I needed to see, you know, how you know, what was going on, like how are you making your money? Because it seemed to me the ex-boyfriend, this is just to me, this may not be true, but to me it seemed like all the finances came from that ex-boyfriend.
So he had a club, she worked at his club.
She worked at his club.
Also, in addition to real estate, that she,
Exactly.
in addition to being a
It
realtor.
sounds like you're saying like maybe she wanted to be a stay-at-home wife. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. I don't think, because AD definitely got into her real estate after we finished filming, and she was very transparent with me about this ex-boyfriend. So I don't want to make it seem like, you know, she wasn't doing anything, but she just really dedicated this time to be a wife.
Yes.
Me personally, I didn't understand that because they paid us whatever they paid us, and to me that wasn't enough to just pause my life for 6 weeks.
So here's the thing. I had my own questions about AD, and I didn't want to make a solo video about that because I'm pretty sure a lot of people side with AD. I've seen that discourse online. Just a lot of, I'm not going to shame a woman for being a sugar baby. Get yours, honey, get yours. But my thing is, if we're going to criticize Clay for coming on a show not being ready for marriage, wouldn't you think somebody who's a sugar baby is also not ready for marriage? Don't you think? Don't you think? I don't know, guys. I feel like there's a double standard there. Because, okay, before I even get into that, Clay's friend commented some thoughts on this whole sugar baby situation. So I'm going to read some of those, okay? So somebody said, I'm Clay's best friend. And we both been living out in Charlotte for years now. AD's finances are in fact funny. She has a sugar daddy that is funding her life. Bought her a car and apartment. She's not a realtor. Ask her to show us one house she has sold or a picture she took with somebody in front of the house that she sold them. I'll wait. The never to do a press run to lie on a dude. The never? Oh, the nerve. Mercy. The nerve to do a press run to lie on a dude that has said nothing but kind, respectful things about her is nasty work, okay? Then there was a response. November 2023, around her birthday, her sugar daddy confronted Clay and I outside the club and stated he was still involved with her and had been the entire time and told Clay to stop messing with her. Now, this is interesting because I was watching a TikTok from Storytime with Ricky, and she was saying that throughout the season, people kept messaging her, hey, Clay is messing with this guy. That is a crazy Freudian slip. I definitely meant AD. He's a club owner, whatever. They're together. They were together during filming and they're still together now. So Ricky didn't have any substantiating evidence about it, so she didn't talk about it. So then when she was on the Val Files, AD, she had said to him that casting called her job and her ex, who's the club owner, answered, and he told production, oh no, that's my girl, so she's not interested. So it kind of seems like that story is corroborated, and then now you have the friend saying she's definitely a sugar baby, and then you have her also saying, hey, listen, you know, I was set up nice, I was set up good. And then you also have Clay in another interview. I think I'm going to put the clip in there when he's talking about some other stuff too. That AD in fact did have somebody financing her life. I think I asked him one of my questions, why didn't we get to see AD's home? He just got her an apartment and got her a car and he's not in the mix at all. And if they would have gotten married and he was still in the picture, now how would that? I don't know. I feel like if we're gonna paint a brush of who is ready for marriage, just because y'all like AD, you can't now say, oh, well, I don't judge her, it's fine. She probably shouldn't have been on the show either. Everybody on the show now comes for clout at this point, which is interesting where a lot of people were asking, what happened to Lauren and Cameron? Why didn't they come to the show? And Lauren some time ago had said this is the first time she hasn't been obligated to watch the show, so she's living her life. And then Cameron came out and he said, this season is all about the drama and I don't want to be involved.
Is there tension between you, Cam, Lib, Netflix, and Netflix? Not to our knowledge. No, it's not. Not on our end at all. We have supported the Love is Blind franchise for the past 4 to 5 years. We have done countless interviews talking about how we're grateful for our experience, how it's changed our lives. We have been involved in activations. I will say that for some reason, me speaking out against wanting to see more Black women stories, full stories being told in the franchise, to some people that correlated for me hating the series or not supporting the series. I'm a Black woman that was on the show, so I'm always going to speak up for Black women, period. So I don't know where that comes from. There's no tension on our end. Now, if somebody else feels different, it's not coming from over here, though. We have constantly spoken out about how grateful we are.
Any rumor that I don't like Love is Blind, Netflix, or Kinetic is not true. Second, we were invited to the season 6 reunion and we respectfully declined. We already were booked for that date. And also, I had only watched a few episodes of the show and I just wasn't motivated to keep watching. And that's no hate to the current cast. I just wasn't into this season. I didn't find those couples that I wanted to root for. I've supported it for the last 4 years, doing press, doing hosting, other activations, and I've been very happy to do that. When it comes to genuineness, I think on every season there are people who are open to getting married, there are people who want to get famous, and there are people who fall somewhere in the middle. And for me watching, of course, I want to see people who have that true connection, who genuinely want to get married. What is everyone talking about when they watch the show? It's all the memes, it's all the one-liners, it's all the drama, the mess. So can you really blame the cast for playing into that? And now, season 6, the cast is well aware of how the show works. I didn't hear anything about the one couple that did get married on this season. It was all about everyone else. For Lauren and I, Love is Blind was just the beginning of our story, and we're working on so many wonderful projects together. I'm grateful to have a partner that I can work with. It's truly a blessing, and thank you for supporting us for the last 4 years. It really means the world to me.
I don't blame them. Look at what's coming out about these people. Is this like out of the ordinary? No. People know the phenomenon that Love is Blind is, so they are going to come on a show and expect some kind of a platform. But for it to be filled with so many unserious people from the jump, yeah, it's sad. I do side with Cameron. Lastly, Clay was on a podcast with Angela Yee, I think. Yep. And somebody else. No disrespect to that lady. I just don't know who she is. I don't remember her name. Her name is Candace Bassett. if I'm not mistaken, and she is a Real Housewife. But he was on a podcast with these two ladies, and he did touch on the whole finances thing, and he also threw some shade at AD.
Yeah, my mom definitely got respect for AD. I don't think she liked the comment that AD made though at the reunion.
She didn't want to be your mom.
Yeah, it's like AD, what are you talking about, man? Like my mom was married for 23 years. Like you wish, you know what I mean? Like.
Well, she said respectfully, but
Yeah, she didn't want that situation to be her.
Yeah. I just feel like she could have definitely worded that differently because my mom has only on camera has only spoke grace. She's had so much grace for AD, and you just open up the conversation of like, well, women like, well, I don't want to be like that, but it's like divorce happens, like breakups happen. You don't say you don't want to be like somebody, like those stuff do happen. Like relationships are tough, they're hard. Yeah. My mom was married for 23, almost 24 years. Like that's an amazing accomplishment, whether you want to sneeze at it or not. Like of course the goal is to be married forever, but that's not everybody's story. So I thought AD has met my mom enough to know not to throw that in her face like that, but. That's
I don't know that she was throwing it in her face so much as
she
like
just said
expressing what she did not want for herself.
And I understand that. I me personally though.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Well,
like
that's
that
your
comment.
mama.
Yeah.
So
I didn't like
you're
that
gonna
comment.
you're gonna ride for your mom.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
Now I might be one of the few people who didn't process what AD said in this way. I thought she was just saying, I don't want to mother you. I don't want to be a mom to you, a mom. I didn't think AD said, I don't want to be like your mama. Now that's crazy. As the mom, I would have had an issue with that too. Absolutely would have had an issue with that too. And then for him to say, you wish you would have had a marriage like my parents, I promise you she don't. I promise you she don't. I don't. You don't. You don't even want a relationship like your parents. We saw the battle that you had on the show. You don't even wish to have a relationship like your parents. Be for real. And since when did longevity equate success? Because if they were married for 23 or 27, however many years, and she was miserable them years, that's not a successful marriage, if you ask me. Sorry. How many people do we know in our lives, mainly people above our generation, being in these long-suffering relationships? These are not relationships to envy. We shouldn't envy anyone's relationships, but definitely not those ones. And didn't I say when I was reviewing the show, she would be signing up to be a long-suffering wife if ever she married Clay? And then for things to come out about the mom and then how Clay is now, I'm like, absolutely, that would have been the case. And AD decided, not for me. Actually, I lied. AD did not decide. This girl very well was going to be a long-suffering wife if not for Clay saying no. Damn. And there's been a trend of that too going around where people are realizing, wait, hold on now. AD is not the boss bee that she was making it seem that she was. Especially now seeing her response in interviews and stuff, people are saying, I expected more growth from AD, more acknowledgement of where, you had misstep. You had your missteps, and that doesn't seem to be the case. There was one comment which really bothered me. I even sent it to my friends because I said, ain't no way she just said that. She said at the altar when he said, okay, body, she wasn't offended because that's their banter. And we just don't understand. So what if he doesn't call her beautiful? She wants him to acknowledge the fact that she put in work on her body. That's why she wore that high slit dress. That's why she wore that revealing dress at the reunion. Like, these are things that she has said, and I'm thinking, oh, that same woman who we saw who was so broken at the wedding seems to be who we see now. And honestly, everybody's journey is their journey. Healing takes however long it takes, right? And you may never even reach a healed state. But all the attention has been on Clay, and I'm seeing a lot of oversight when it comes to AD, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of sad. I do wish I saw a little bit more growth. But hey, if you ask me, I think maybe these two aren't as in a good place as they were maybe before the reunion, because even now the little jabs are coming out more. And the fact that Clay did not check his friend, maybe he didn't know that this was happening, but the fact that Clay did not check his friend in those comments, it makes me think maybe he's not as as happy of the state of his relationship with AD as they've been trying to make it seem for the last few weeks or so. Those are my final thoughts. I really don't think there should be anything more after this. If there is, it'll have to be a mixed bag video because I'm not doing a video on one topic. It's just too much energy for me. Y'all know I don't even be following these people after the seasons. Like when I'm done, I'm done. But if y'all think that there are some pertinent things that we need to talk about, hit me up in the DMs, send the tea on Discord. I will be, having my ear to the streets. And yeah, you guys let me know how you felt about the topics today in the comments. Please remember to be respectful, okay? Even if you don't go through what's happening in these people's lives, somebody in the comments might be going through what's going on in these people's lives. So just remember to have respect. That's all. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one.